Sawasdee krap. In today's Thailand News Today, the island of Phuket has a firm plan to get its residents vaccinated, leading up to an October opening for tourists. The Thai PM backs up his police over last Sunday's protest violence, and Thai Airways Employees Union criticises the changes to employee contracts. It's all coming up on Thailand News Today. Let's get started. Phuket is poised to open its doors to vaccinated international tourists by October, pending the government approval. The local government initiative, named Phuket First October, proposes vaccinating a majority of the population over 18 years of age in time for the next high season. The move would most likely allow thousands of vaccinated Europeans to enter Thailand, while locals would be theoretically protected from the worst of the virus symptoms. Protecting the locals would include achieving herd immunity in time for reopening the province, which would need 70% of the population to be vaccinated. The local government's goal would not wait for the Thai government to roll out vaccines and instead use its own resources to vaccinate the public. As part of the program, island tourism officials are also looking to waive the 14-day quarantine, with PM Prayut recently changing his stance by announcing that a quarantine waiver is being considered for travellers that are vaccinated. But the plan must be approved by the national government by April if the province wants to open tourism by October the 1st. Phuket has a resident population of around 300,000 to 400,000 people. Now, before you go rushing off and booking your plane tickets, we'd stress that this is just another in a long list of proposals that have not come to fruition, and we'd urge patience until the government approves the plans. Meanwhile, the island has taken delivery of 4,000 doses of the Chinese Sinovac Covid-19 vaccine. Vaccinations started yesterday, with priority given to 1,500 healthcare workers and 500 at-risk officials exposed to Covid-19 patients. The Washira Phuket Hospital is administering the vaccines, with capacity to vaccinate 400 people a day. Doses are also being distributed to other hospitals on the island. On a broader note, Thailand's tourism minister says he's asked for the Public Health Ministry to approve a vaccine passport scheme that's aimed at reviving Thailand's devastated tourism sector. According to the minister, the government's looking to the World Health Organization to issue a statement on vaccine passports before it makes a final decision on the matter. The tourism minister adds that having a scheme in place that would allow foreign visitors to bypass quarantine could lead, according to his latest estimates, to 5 million tourists arriving in the kingdom this year. The minister predicts that the Russians could be the first to return, with tour agents in Russia saying demand is high enough to support regular flights of between 300 and 400 passengers. The government's Covid-19 task force is also considering allowing quarantining tourists to leave their rooms after 3 days of self-isolation. At the moment, there are currently 58 alternative quarantine facilities across the 5 hardest-hit tourist provinces, with over 6,700 rooms and 13,000 employees involved. The Thai PM Prayut Chan-o-cha has defended police actions against protesters taking part in Sunday's anti-government rally in Bangkok. Officers from the Metropolitan Police Bureau used tear gas, a water cannon and rubber bullets in an effort to drive protesters back from the PM's residence. The PM insists the actions were in line with international standards. He says the police did not violate the protesters' rights. The PM's also criticised some media outlets for their reporting of the rally, claiming they only focused on the police use of force against protesters. 33 people were injured at the rally, 23 police officers and 10 protesters. 22 protesters have ended up arrested, 4 were minors. The Metropolitan Police say the use of rubber bullets was necessary in order to stop things getting out of control. They say protesters also gathered outside the Dindang and Sutasan police stations, where they set fire to police cars. They claim 90 officers were injured in the clashes, with 27 receiving hospital treatment. Their claims are in contrast to the reports on the day's proceedings in Thai media. Police also claimed that Sunday's protests was different to others in that some activists kicked things off by attacking police officers. Thai researchers are claiming that horseshoe bats are not responsible for the transmission of the COVID virus to humans. A researcher with the Thai Red Cross Emerging Infectious Diseases Health Science Centre says that even though the bats have tested positive for a coronavirus, it's not the strain that's transmissible to humans, and it's certainly not the virus that causes COVID-19. The centre made the statement after the Russian Sputnik news agency claimed that researchers found a new strain of coronavirus in a Chachongsao bat colony, which closely resembles the SARS-CoV-2 virus. A spokesperson admitted that a research team from the centre is studying emerging pandemic threats in bat populations, but says the study's findings were misrepresented. As Thai Airways tries to sell new contracts and conditions to its remaining workforce, the labour union of the national carrier is challenging changes to the employment contracts, where Thai Airways employees are being asked to agree to changes as part of the bigger financial rehabilitation program. But a union representative says the new contracts are unfair because it includes fewer leave days and shorter holidays. The union has filed a complaint with the Department of Labour Protection and Welfare. Executives are about to present their rehabilitation plan to the Central Bankruptcy Court, and just last month the airline cut some 240 executive positions from the airline's top heavy workforce and are now trying to get the remaining employees to accept more contemporary contracts to make the national airline's work contracts competitive as it battles for survival against the smaller, more nimble, low-cost airlines. Currently, there are fewer than 21,000 employees remaining in Thai Airways. The airline's rehabilitation scheme is set to be presented to the Bankruptcy Court tomorrow. Well, plenty of big news stories for our Tuesday Thailand News Today. Thanks to Jet for hosting the program yesterday. He'll be back again tomorrow as well. Also got plenty of other videos to check out on our YouTube channel. Please check them out and comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well. That's appreciated, and we look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.